Hey guys, VolcanoTheBat here, aka Gyrocycler. This video will contain spoilers, you have been warned. So I just saw the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, the live action 2020 version. I have been waiting for this film to release since 2018. I first heard the news that a Sonic the Hedgehog movie was being talked about, going all the way back to 2014, and ever since then I've been patiently waiting for some form of a teaser or trailer to drop. And when it did... What the fuck? Come on. I was expecting something, but this is... something else. Sonic the Hedgehog was directed by Jeff Fowler, and stars Ben Schwartz as Sonic the Hedgehog, and Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman. I've got to admit, when I heard that the producer of the Fast and Furious franchise, Neil H. Moritz, was working on this, I was somewhat concerned. I think I was more so skeptical if anything, because no disrespect to the franchise, but it's just not my cup of tea. I see why they got him on board for this, but it definitely left me with questions. As if this weren't concerning enough, Tim Miller, the director of Deadpool and Terminator Dark Fate, had some involvement with this. I guess anybody who here has seen the trailer, you pretty much know exactly what's gonna happen. Yet again, another movie that has its entire plot shown in the trailer. And part of me did want to avoid the trailers, but after the original design, can you really blame me? And to clarify, I am one of those people that wasn't really a fan of the original design. But who knows, maybe I would have gotten used to this in the actual film if it released with this design. But yes, I am glad that they changed the design. I think that was the only hope I had of this movie. The fact that the director actually did openly say, thank you for the support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear, you aren't happy with the design and you want changes. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be. Now, is that not the sign of a director who cares for his audience? Like, wow, this is his response to this. Never thought I would see such a respectful and accepting response. Not after Rian Johnson, and definitely not after Cats. So at this point, I was on edge, and even though I would have preferred some fan edits over the final design, I definitely regained some faith. Literally just from this response. And finally going into the movie, the only thing I could think of was that even though Sonic aside, he had only directed 2 other films, I could only have faith. But now for the real question. Is it good? Yeah, it's actually pretty great. Can't believe I'm saying this. I don't know why I expected it to fail so much, but this is actually a really entertaining film. It really just shows how mediocre the trailers really were. Both took me out and didn't make me feel like I was watching a Sonic trailer. My biggest complaint with Sonic games in general is that they never really have a backstory or an origin story to who Sonic is, where he came from, who brought him up, that kind of stuff. And that's basically what this film does. In a way, it also merges classic and modern Sonic together too. You could definitely say that it retcons a lot of earlier stories as well. Because for example, Sonic's in Green Hill, he doesn't fight Eggman in Green Hill, at least in his classic form in this film. Sonic Underground, he has a mother and siblings. Here, he's brought up by a mentor, and shortly is alone, which I'm pretty sure is a nod to the OVA movie.
Believe me, I was pretty popular with the ladies!
But even better, there's a reference to the Echidna tribe, which I thought was pretty sweet. It definitely does make you feel like you're in the Sonic universe. This really did get me into the mindset that I was watching a backstory. Even the score was beautiful. From the orchestral Sega, to the piano solo Green Hill. And I gotta admit, while I'm not a big Hyper Potions fan, hearing that Mania intro, playing on top of the Green Hill montage, don't know about you guys, but I'm sold. Like, that gave me chills, and I'm not even a Mania fan. And it didn't feel forced either. There were more than a few references to Green Hill, I must admit. And while it was integrated into the plot, you could definitely see a bit of Takashi going, just put a little bit of, you know, a bit of that, and then maybe a bit of that there, and you gotta, definitely has to be there.
These are my children, and I will find them my way!
Yeah. But even with that said, he still was only credited as Sonic Character Supervisor, so meh. I can definitely see now why people are saying Tyson Hesse saved the Sonic movie, because I can really see how he would have gone in there and directed the animator and models. In terms of the plot, as mentioned, you pretty much know everything you don't need to know going into the trailer. Sonic is being Sonic that causes a sonic boom that knocks out the power. The government lets Eggman step in. Sonic meets Tom. Donut Lord punches the Eggman. Tom and Sonic escape by going on a road trip. Then they chill at a bar. Eggman tracks them. Then Eggman confronts them on the road trip. Sonic meets Tom's best friend. Then they have another battle in City Escape. And now it's the big final boss. And Sonic gets mad and goes semi-supersonic. And now Eggman's in Mushroom Hill. Literally, all of these scenes can be found in the trailer. The movie itself, in my opinion, is fine. It's whoever the hell directed the trailers. Now, I do have some nitpicks with the film itself, so I think I'll get these out the way first. The jerks. Was it necessary to have a fart joke to mention the chili dog? No. Am I glad there's still a chili dog reference? I think. Sonic literally says, "Oh, I had something that's a bit embarrassing." He could have right then and there said, "I had something a bit embarrassing. Something called a chili dog." And if you've seen the trailers, it's not the only fart jerk. Why do they do this? Do they think it's funny? Because yeah, it's so funny. You can hear it in my voice. Jim Carrey as Eggman. He killed it. He really did. I mean, seriously, he's amazing. His performance was everything that I expected it to be, but that does have a downside at the same time. See, this is what I was kind of afraid of when I reacted to the trailer.
In a sequentially ranked hierarchy based on level of critical importance, the disparity between us is too vast to quantify.
While that's a very Eggman thing to say, the way Jim Carrey delivers that line is a bit Jim Carrey-like, you know? It doesn't really shout Eggman to me, and this was something that I was concerned about. It's why to this day I still kind of wonder what it would have been like if Mike Pollock was cast as Eggman. I feel like he could fit the bill. He already is the voice of Eggman, so that's already in the clear. But I've got to admit, Jim Carrey definitely looks like he's having a lot of fun with all these scenes. It's just a shame that the script isn't perfect. But I guarantee that more teenagers, or kids for that matter, say derp or lit more often than nailed it! It's a very 90s thing to say. And that's probably what they were trying to go for, considering Sonic was released in the 90s. But yeah, I don't know, it just feels like someone who worked on Venom. The Chaos Emeralds. I was a bit bummed out that there was no Chaos Emeralds in the film. I know that it wasn't to be expected since it wasn't shown in any of the trailers, but I was hoping that we would see one or at least have them mentioned. But I think at this point in the timeline, they're treating it as if Sonic doesn't even know what the Chaos Emeralds are. Eggman included, obviously. They're probably saving that for the sequel, which now thinking about it might be a more wise decision. That way they don't have to cram everything into the one movie. Finally, the only other nitpick I have is towards the end. Sonic sends Eggman to Mushroom Hill. Now, like, Sonic hasn't been to this dimension, so yeah, for all we know, the emeralds might be there, which is how he can escape and get back home. All because Sonic sent him to a place he hasn't been before. I don't know, it just seems like a quick way to write him out of the movie. And with that, that's pretty much all the nitpicks I had with it. Now let's talk about all the positives. Ring teleporters, staying true to its source material, while being creative at the same time. It literally merged the regular rings with the teleporter rings. And not that I really expected this to be used in the film, but yeah, they actually did use a ring sound effect as Sonic picks them up, and it sounds crap tons better than the teaser's sound effect. Not only does it still keep the same kind of jingle melody, but it's more realistic, as if Sonic really is picking it up off the pavement. Sonic gives Robotnik the name Eggman. I can't remember the exact phrase, but he's basically going on about his eggs hatching or his babies hatching, meaning the egg-shaped robots. Then Sonic literally calls him Mr. Eggman. It's a nice nod to how he was originally called Ivor Robotnik, but is eventually referred to as Eggman. And I hope they do this with Miles Prower being called Tails. Which of course this leads me to the Miles Tails Prower scene. He only appears in a post-credits scene. It definitely sets up a sequel, and definitely has me hyped. I couldn't tell if Sonic actually ran out of rings for teleporters. If he did, then Tails is definitely there to replenish his rings. And if not,
you know what they say, the more the merrier.
The credits montage. There was a lot of references in the film that if you didn't quite get, the credits montage basically would clear this up for you. I could swear it had more stuff that wasn't in the film, but regardless, all in all, the animation, the pixel art, it's really refreshing. It feels like a more upgraded version of the Wreck-It Ralph credits, and I'm sure the pixel art will inspire many Mania and Classic modders, and even future modders to come. Speaking of the future, moving a little bit off topic, the 2021 game. It's been speculated that a Sonic game is going to release 2021 for the 30th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog. What's to say that this isn't the game annotation of the movie? Don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely up for a game version of the movie, be it official or not. It's funny though, I was kind of afraid that they were going to pull a Mario. How at the end of the Mario movie, I think it was like the president of Nintendo wanted to interview the Mario Brothers and pitched to them the idea of making a Super Mario Bros. The video game.
Well, I must say we have a very exciting proposal.
A video game based on your many adventures.
Could have been interesting, but I'm kind of glad this didn't happen. I really can't picture Takashi being there going, "I like to make brand new experience of you as our mascot." Anyway, back onto the positives. Finally, and I know not everyone's gonna like this scene, but I loved how the girl gave Sonic his shoes. They're so cartoony and kiddie that I really can't picture a 15-year-old choosing to wear this. So to me, it makes perfect sense that a kid actually gave him the shoes. It kind of reminds me of Captain Marvel, how the kid gave some ideas for the costume, which to some might feel a bit uninspired, like that Dr. Evil scene.
Alright, zip it.
You can't even
Zip it. Zip.
look.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Exhibit A.
Yes, I am.
Nope.
I'm
Wrong. I'm in charge. Nobody cares.
And to others it might seem like, come on, I wanted to see Sonic make those shoes. It really depends on the opinion at this point. In conclusion, this film felt like a big prologue to a much more greater film as its sequel, and even as an origin story. It's a lot more enjoyable than I was expecting. I can definitely see this bringing in new fans, as it really does explain everything you need to know about the Sonic universe. And while it's not perfect, I do genuinely feel like this is the first video game movie that actually felt like a lot of care and effort was put in, and I have to give props for that. And with that, that brings us to the end of this video.